Now, the big question, we talked to Funyula MP Paul Otuoma, who resigned to be the next Busia governor. Last week, Otuoma controversially lost to the incumbent governor, Sospita Ojamong, in the ODM nominations, in results that were later cancelled over alleged malpractice in Ojamong's strongholds of Teso North and Teso South. Otuoma has since demanded that he be given the ODM ticket or he will find an alternative. Well, tonight we have the man himself in studio. Thank you so much for making time for us.
Thank you, sir.
Should he be given the ticket or should ODM repeat the exercise? Talk to us. The hashtag on Twitter is the big question, and text us on 22422. If we can have a quick look at those results or how they polled then. Sospita Ojamong, the incumbent, had 92,358 votes against Otuoma's 63,752 votes. These results were nullified by ODM. Teso North and Teso South, this is where the problem was. Teso North, according to Otuoma, Sospita Ojamong 33,000, Otuoma 3,000, and Teso South 44,000 for Ojamong and 1,357 for Otuoma. The other constituencies, including Funyula, Nambale, Budalangi, Butula, there you can see the results. Otuoma won there 20,139 votes against Ojamong's 5,000. In Nambale, 597, Sospita Ojamong, 2,807 for Paul Otuoma. And Budalangi, 1,907 for Sospita Ojamong, 5,580 for Otuoma. ODM nullified the results. Later on, ODM decided to nullify the results for Teso North and Teso South only. Well, Paul Otuoma is in Nairobi today. Or he came actually today. You came today because you're coming for a meeting at ODM, where you will also meet together with the Sospita Ojamong, the governor.
Yes.
So first, how did the meeting go? What was the resolution?
First of all, I have to say my brother Ojamong didn't turn up.
For the meeting?
For the meeting. And of course, in the meeting, I didn't do much other than just to present the very same points that I had raised with the National Elections Board, where I had written a letter when I was here, I think 2 days ago, because you remember I again had to come back to Nairobi and went back. So I've been shuttling actually between Nairobi and here. So the points that I had raised at that particular time.
So you're meeting again the National Elections Board?
I met the chair of the National Elections Board and another panel of ODM members that had been constituted.
Right.
And of course we were to go through exactly what happened. And you are aware that the chair of ODM, National Elections, Pareno, had earlier held a press conference saying that she had not received the letter. And yet we had already delivered the letter in her office at Orange House. That is the official residence of the National Elections Board. So when she indicated that currently they are operating in another venue, we had no way of knowing that other venue that they are operating in. We just knew the venue where the National Elections Board is.
Meaning today, where you went today?
No. Today we had a meeting at a completely different
So today when you met, what was the decision? You're saying Ojamong was not there, that's what you're saying.
Ojamong
was not there.
Turn up.
So what
I
was
was given the impression that he was going to... We just went through the very same things that I had written in the letter. So I was asking them that I had already launched, the issues that I had raised. And I thought you are calling me to address those issues. But now you're asking me again afresh.
So there was no direction you're given?
Yeah, so I wondered what was all this about.
You're going back to Busia tomorrow. And of course, today is this... you gave an ultimatum, 2-day ultimatum.
Yes.
For them to give you the ticket.
Yes.
Or what? What are you going to do now?
Actually, it's not an ultimatum. We say that we are running out of time. As you're aware, we are working within a certain time frame, both in the Constitution and in the law. And we didn't want to be taken in circles of what is happening, because it's very clear we won the elections. Whoever committed the offense, we put our points, and they were to get back to us to tell us, are these valid? Or which ones are not valid? What did the opponent whom we said has done all these kind of crimes, how did he respond? Right. That is what I was expecting to be.
So are you still taken round in circles today?
I was just taken round in circles as if I have come to report for the first time.
So what are you going to do now?
We are having a meeting tomorrow in Busia, and I think it will be up to the people of Busia to also decide. The only thing I vowed is that I'll protect the dignity of the people of Busia. If they voted, their voices must be heard. At the same time, we must also know that the party does not commit a crime. It's individuals within the party that commit a crime. Okay. From the word go, we have had a lot of challenges. But we have been able to bear that, thinking that, you know, we are trying to preserve our party.
Now that you talk about the voters of Busia and what, I mean, you want their votes to be sacred.
Yes.
That's what you want. ODM first cancelled the results for the whole county. Later on, they cancelled Teso North and Teso South. Now, they actually said we should have a repeat of Teso North and Teso South. Do you have a problem with that, repeating?
I have a big problem with that.
Why?
Because they have not told me. I expected them to tell me today that for this reason and this reason, that's why we are taking this decision.
Well, they have
but
said
just to punish me for a crime I have not committed, because they have not told me that this is the crime you committed. We counted the results as they were before these other exaggerated results started coming.
You as
of course, I had a tallying center. By the time they were announcing at 9 p.m., one Mr. Luku, who was the secretary to the county election board, when he said we have 90% of the results and we are just waiting for 10%, which we waited for from 9 p.m. to again 9 a.m. the following day, and nothing was coming up. So we were asking them, you sat us here for 12 hours waiting for some, where are they?
Okay, the results finally came. You have disputed the results.
Where did they come?
They are calling for a repeat of elections.
No, where did they come? Because you should have, when we were there, even the media was there, they should have told us now what we have been waiting for the last 12 hours is here. Instead, one Justice Juma, and I don't know whether I should use the name Justice on him, he just woke up and said, I have received some phone call and I'm making this announcement.
Okay.
And that was it. So
back to my question.
Yes.
What would be the problem with repeating elections in Teso North and Teso South?
You see, by trying to reward criminality and sanitizing somebody who has completely committed a crime, because the way the people of Teso voted is known. If the party wants to investigate, because we had agents, these people were later chased away. Okay. The boxes were hijacked. Okay. And for 12 hours, we were hoodwinked. When these things were being cooked, and I raised it because we had a way. If the only thing that I did was we said we didn't want violence. Otherwise, the youths knew where these things were happening. They were reported to the police. No action was taken.
So according to you, then clearly from what you're saying, fair enough. I mean, you had your own tallying, but according to you, from how you're explaining what happened there, we will not know what exactly happened in Teso. These results cannot be genuine, according to you. So my question is, why wouldn't you do a repeat? What makes you think then you won in Teso?
You see, that's what I'm saying. When you say a repeat, you must lay the basis of the repeat. So why do you want me to go through another exercise without explaining to me why we need to go through that exercise? Because we are just saying, in Teso, this is what happened. Who did that? Where were the results that the people of Teso actually voted?
So how should you be given a ticket without two constituencies, results of two constituencies?
No, it's not. We are not saying that the results of two constituencies are not known.
They are not known. From what you're saying, they were bungled. They are not known.
No, somebody just did this deliberately.
Still, they were bungled.
I don't know whether
deliberate or not, they were bungled.
But you see, that is the assumption. But what has the investigation shown? Like today, as we speak, 6 individuals have been caught. They have been arraigned in court. Yeah, they are out on bond. They were caught with ballot boxes marked for Sospito Jamong and one Florence Mutua for women rep. Just 2 people. Okay. Now, what I'm saying is that the party should also be addressing some of those issues and saying, this is the bottom of the thing, this is exactly what happened. As we speak today, we are just saying this thing has been bungled. But I think this whole thing, if you listen to what my opponent is talking about, this was just supposed to be one of the strategies out of the 9 that he has to just play around, because this was just supposed to be a PR exercise. Okay. And now out of the PR exercise, he has only utilized one of his tricks, magic tricks in the bag. He still has another 7. So now we are asking, why are you subjecting us to all this process? I had even indicated earlier that if you want us to repeat, let us repeat through the whole county and let us do it by Tuesday.
Are you ready for that?
That was supposed to have been on Tuesday today. What I tend to think to me currently, that all this is just a bag of tricks to continue pulling this thing.
So if ODM decides to repeat elections in the whole county nominations, are you okay with that?
I will not be okay with that unless I'm also satisfied that within the time frame that we are talking about, we still have got a right for recourse if we see that justice has not been done. But to put us in a situation whereby you have already shown us that you are completely biased, and you put us in a situation whereby we cannot have recourse. Like if you say on 25th, honestly you say, on 25th, these exercises are supposed to end on 26th.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly,
So, okay.
which time do you have for recourse?
Okay. So
and you must also understand, just
right.
a minute, you must understand from the letter that I gave out, there's a background to all this thing. It's not that something just happened in Teso. There's a background. We said, how can one of the contestants appoint referees, for example? And we have had him talking about it.
Okay.
So there's a chronology of events that is making the whole exercise suspect.
The whole exercise, you say again. Yet you want to be given a ticket on the whole exercise.
No, the whole exercise of this thing that have just happened in this place.
But then you want to be given a ticket.
But we won.
You're saying the exercise is suspect.
No, I'm just saying this whole exercise that they are doing here in the two places.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those two places still count, isn't it, for the county of Busia?
Of course it counts.
Okay.
Like now, let me ask you, for example, when you say Nambale voted 3,000 votes, is Nambale a ward? Nambale is a whole constituency.
So it doesn't make sense.
It is not making... But
so
what I'm saying...
clearly, even according to you, then, Nambale votes don't make sense.
No, but you see, you're saying what I'm asking you is that when you have got such a thing, it must be investigated. And the facts must be in the table.
Right.
You see, currently when I speak, then you'll be asking me the kind of questions you're asking. That why do you want this exercise to be declared in this manner? Because I'm an interested party. But if it is investigated, like today, the exercise in Kiligoris, one candidate was disqualified because he was involved in election malpractices, and the other person declared. Now, in this case, we are talking about where an exercise is not known, than where one of the contestants is involved in election malpractices to create this kind of scenario.
Right.
Those are completely two different things.
One more thing. You were quoted then, and this was a problem all through Busia. Sam Ogina was the reporter there. I remember talking to him that morning, Thursday morning. Initially, the ODM membership list was to be used.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Later on, in some areas where Sam Ogina was, we saw the presiding officers deciding to use the IBC register. IBC has not even released the register. I don't know what register they were using because it's being cleaned up. You were quoted as saying people should be allowed to use their IDs.
Yes.
That is not according. That is not.
No.
That is not how the party wanted it done.
No, let me tell you, I'm not the one who organizes the elections. What we said is that so long as your name is in the register.
Which register now?
That has come from the National Elections Board of ODM. So long as your name is there and you can be identified, then you should vote. That's what I've been quoted saying.
Not national ID.
No, you are national. You see, if you are a voter,
you were quoted as saying anybody now with a national ID should go ahead and vote.
No, Hussein, that is not what I said. What I said, so long as you have an ID and you go there and your name is there, that register that has been brought from Orange House, that is what should determine. Not somebody to stop you on the road to start asking you that, oh, you know, you are not a member of this party. I told people it is you who knows which party you belong to, and it is the register at the voting area which will determine that your name is either there or not there.
Okay, so then that's what I was saying. Then we saw so many people going to vote and their names are not in the register. Ultimately, they were allowed to vote. In different constituencies, they were allowed to vote without their names being in the ODM list. Meaning, what does that say about the process?
In places where that happened, you can even see, if you look at the results like in Budalangi, look at the low turnout because of the register. Are you getting me? You will see very low turnouts. There we had almost like 10,000 people who came up. Because there was a lot of argument among the candidates as to which list should be utilized. But in places where the register that had been provided by the officials, are you getting me? And you have an ID and your name is in that register, why should you be stopped? Who is verifying?
And this is why
I thought it's the official who is verifying. On the issues of mechanisms, as I have put it correctly to you, I can go, that is a topic, a completely different topic. Because I have said, you remember in the Constitution, we said political parties should be funded using a certain criteria. Today we say we are facing part of this debacle is because of the financial constraints that political parties have. And that's where some of us are also understanding that we are doing some of these exercises under very, very difficult circumstances. Yeah, very difficult.
So if in a very quick question, if in some instances people were turned away, some areas because they were not in the ODM list, in some areas they were still allowed either way, what does that mean in the whole process?
I wouldn't tell. What I know is that...
Because that happened, why isn't that one of the things you complained about?
I think that's the thing you should ask the National Elections Board, because they are responsible for that. If you ask me as a candidate, I've raised all these issues we are talking about. But we say, despite these handicaps, we are going to go for the elections.
This is what Paul Otuoma Governor Sospeter Ojamong said today. He was speaking on Citizen Live at 1 with Fred Indimuli.
And you know, Busia is a very strange kind of county. It's a cosmopolitan, where you have to cater for the interests of every. There are so many competing interests, which cannot be sorted by, might be straight elections. People have to sit on the table and say who takes what, just the way it happens in the Somali areas. So, you know, that is the situation in Busia County.
Almost talking about a boardroom decision. Is that something you're open to? Sitting and talking?
Definitely, as I sit here. Yesterday I had a meeting with various stakeholders, the elders, councils and all that, to try and, you know, bring everybody on board. Everybody on board. But you must understand, Hussein, this is not 2013. When everybody thought that this is the Senate seat, this is the women's seat, and this is the governor's seat. Today what we are talking about is the governor's seat, and all that it takes to make sure that there's fairness within the county. It is not that now, if this one has governor, this one has women rep, this one has senator, now you have distributed. There's political distribution, but there's also resource distribution. And it is very well understood today that nearly 90% or even 99% of devolution is the governance. The rest about the Senate, it could be political, the women rep, the affirmative thing, but the rest, from the experience that people have learned now, is about the governance. How do you, as a governor, ensure that you take into account the interests of everybody, as it is enshrined in the Constitution?
So are you willing to talk with him?
Of course I've been talking.
With him?
Ojamong is just one of the stakeholders. He's not the stakeholder per se. He cannot even purport to represent the Iteso community. I can tell you that for free, because I've held a meeting with the leaders. They are equally not happy of what has happened and the kind of direction that this thing is being twisted to take. Ultimately,
if the ODM decides to investigate this and find whoever is culpable and punishes them, and that is the aspect you want to happen, isn't it? That is what you're saying is missing.
And
then now it's decided.
Or even if it is to forgive, it should be known that this is what happened. This is exactly what happened.
And then now they say repeat. You'll be okay with that?
I'll be okay with that.
Okay. And finally, many have been questioning about tomorrow and what you'll do in Busia. If all this fails, according to, after the ultimatum you gave, what will you do? You've had some on Twitter, like I read, and Dabutu saying you should move out of ODM, maybe try and go to another party in NASA. Is that an option you're considering?
I think currently that is not an option on the table, because you already know that once you have committed yourself to an exercise in a political party, you must believe in that political party. The only thing that we are saying is that if we have a crisis in the party, as in this case we are having issues, do we have fair mechanisms to solve the problem? Trying to reward a criminal is, to me, what I'm finding completely unpalatable. Somebody who has been on national television accusing me of all manners of things, that some of them, like you remember Rasanga's case and Oduol, it was Rasanga's victory was invalidated on the basis of just calling Oduol a Jubilee Mall or something like that. But this person has gone even ahead and printed material, even faked one of the daily papers.
Although he denied that. He denied that.
Okay, he may have denied it here, but he has also been quoted in other places saying that, you know, the Otuoma is so and so.
Right. Funyula, Member of Parliament, Paul Otuoma, thank you so much for making time for us tonight for the big question. I wish you the best of luck. Should he be given, that is Otuoma, the ticket, or should ODM repeat the exercise? Keep talking to us. The hashtag is the big question on Twitter. You can text us on 22422. We're back with businesses.